back to my channel. How are you today? Today, me and the Poe. Oh, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you so nervous? Are you so nervous because you're on camera? Oh, you are? Oh goodness. Who's that? Oh, all right. Well, there's that. At least he's a lot more engaging than Sophia. Are you trying to steal our thunder? Do you want to introduce or get ready with me? What do you say? Do you want to introduce it? All right, you guys, today we are here with a get ready with me. It started off a little random. I was trying to think of what topic to cover, like what girl talk can we have? What can we spill the tea on? What can we gossip about? What can we talk some chisme about? And it ended up being the story of how I met Parker. So this get ready with me, I anticipate will be about 2 hours long. There'll probably be a lot of gushing. It's probably gonna be mushy, kind of sickeningly romantic. So if that's not your cup of tea, you probably want to X out now. But it's kind of a special story for me and the double. So we thought we would share it with you guys, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. So if you want to see, oh, okay, you're just showing off that you're 13 and have all your teeth, huh? You big show off. No one likes to show off. No one likes to show off. So if you guys want to see how I got this look, then all you have to do is keep on watching. All right, you guys, let's go ahead and get started. I already applied primer to my face. I'm using Hourglass Veil Mineral Primer. I'm gonna tie my hair back just so it's out of the way. So yesterday I did a look that was no foundation, no powder. It was all cream products. I kind of like the way it looked, but in a few hours it made me look like a super slippery, oily, slickery, is slickery a word? Mess. So I want to do something like that, but I think I want to tweak it a little bit. So we're going to do that together and hopefully we do a good job. Not holding my breath. And I do have to go out, so this might end up turning into me washing my face after this. So the first thing we're going to do is probably grab a foundation, and I don't know what I want to use today because I wanted to do really lightweight face, like hardly nothing on my face, and every time I do that I just reach for my Nars concealer, which ends up turning into a repetitive get ready with me. But I mean, I guess you guys are just here for the girl talk, right? Maybe, sort of. Should I just use the same thing? No? Okay. All right, you guys. So while I was standing over there, now that I can't reach back there, it's a little, it's not my favorite. So when I was over there, I saw the Osmosis foundation. Do you guys remember how much I used to love this? So I'm thinking if I use this, but just not as much, maybe it'll work. I don't know. I'm just so like anti-foundation now, you know? So I'm going to take a little bit of this on my beauty blender. That's a little bit, I think. And then we're gonna use my new favorite fancy mirror. Oh, sorry, I almost dropped it. You guys, so the other day I was doing my whole little calendar thing, like just seeing where we are. And all right, so we're just gonna dot this all over my face. It's still a pretty good color match, considering that I'm tan now. Just kidding. So speaking of tan, Parker and I are actually going back to Mexico in June, which is super exciting. Very looking forward to that. So you guys might not recognize me after June. Oh my God, that joke has to die, you guys. Or maybe not. Do you guys find it funny? It annoys a lot of people, but I mean, I annoy a lot of people. Facts. So I was looking at my videos and kind of like where I was at last year. And last year around this time, I was like, oh my God, Blake Shelton. Do you guys remember that? Oh my gosh. I think it would be very hard for me to go back and actually watch old videos. Like, very hard. And this foundation just it just disappeared. It probably disappeared into my beauty blender. I don't think I'm used to using a beauty blender anymore. It didn't disappear into my beauty blender. It's all gone actually. Yeah, I don't think I'm used to using a beauty blender anymore. I think I'm a brush convert, you guys. What? What's going on? So what's new? You guys, we haven't done a get ready with me in more than a month. Like, who am I? It's been a little hectic adjusting to new schedules with the boys and spring break and all that stuff and all this planning that we need to do, and my son's birthday's coming up. It's been madness. So we're just trying our best to do our best. But we have our good days, we have our bad days, we have our days where we can actually get stuff done, and we have our days where we don't get anything done, and that's okay. I used to be really hard on myself about, accomplishing things. Now I'm like, well, you know what? There's always tomorrow. And if tomorrow doesn't work, there's always the day after that. There's only no solution when you don't wake up anymore. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's the current state of my life. So speaking of Mexico, the P and I are going back because our 1-year anniversary is around the corner. What the heck? Wow, it's so crazy how quickly time goes by. It's so crazy. Like, if you would have told me a year ago today, with what was going on, that I would be at this place in life now, I'd be like, that's not nice. But this is Nars Creamy Radiant Concealer in Macadamia. I would be like, that's not funny, okay? Stop making jokes about my sad, pathetic dating life. But yeah, a year ago today, I was like, well, this is good enough for now, or getting stood up, or getting ghosted. It's crazy. And now I'm like, I'm planning my 1-year anniversary with my boyfriend. I think it's funnier when you make fun of yourself, beat someone to the punch. So yeah, it's been a year. I can't believe it. The way things are changing, and just where everyone is at, and all the planning that we have going on, and madness in a half, but in like the best way possible. So things couldn't be better. I think a while ago on my Instagram, I said, hey, you guys, do you want Parker and I to film a how we met video? And basically the majority of you guys said yes. But there are a few of you that were really passionate about saying, keep your relationship private, keep your relationship special and to yourself, and, off media and stuff like that. And while I try my best to filter what I share with you guys, just so that some stuff is still special in between us, it's kind of where my life is at right now, and I don't want to repeat that same I don't want to repeat history where instead of protecting something, it felt like I was hiding it. And I just, that's not my style. That's not who I am. Is Parker going to be in every one of my videos? No, definitely not. But I just don't want to. I feel like it was a mistake. I feel like some things you're not supposed to hide, or rather, I didn't do it the right way where it didn't feel like I was hiding it. Does that make sense at all, even remotely? So yeah, we thought about doing a video where we talk about how we met and stuff like that, but I still think, and I get these vibes, my boyfriend is very accommodating. He's very like, whatever makes you happy, I'm totally cool. He just goes with the flow. He's very easygoing, which I like because I'm the total opposite. But I still get this vibe like maybe he's not comfortable or used to too much attention. Okay, now we're gonna do, this is where I'm nervous. I want to set my under eye, but I also want to use a cream blush, and I don't want them to interfere. So when you're using cream products, you can't do powder and then cream on top of them because it can get cakey or just messy, right? So what I think I'm gonna do is I'll carefully just set my under eye, just this part here, and then we'll leave everything else without powder. Yeah, I think this might work. I think this is the first time I've used such little powder. Do you guys remember how I powder my face? I just like, I dunk my face in like a bag of flour. Yeah, so I don't think it's really Parker's style to be on camera all the time. I do like that he's so supportive of my job though, and I know that if I asked him to, he'd do it. but I want it to be something that he actually wants to do. You know what I mean? So, what should we talk about today? I don't know. There I go, putting on powder when I said I wouldn't. All right, Dani, you need to stop. Since I'm not using any cream products on my forehead, you guys, yesterday when I did this look, oh my gosh, my face looked like it was dumped in Crisco. I liked it at the beginning, but after I was like, what did I do with my life? But the look was kind of cute. Look, I'm putting on powder again. What is wrong with me? All right, you guys, screw it. I just messed up and I kept powdering, and then I couldn't control myself. I have absolutely zero control over my makeup application once I'm in the zone. Can anyone else relate? So why don't we just talk about how I'm at Parker now? Get it out of the way. I know a lot of you guys are still curious, and I'm like, it's been a year. How do your pandas not know the story? It's been a year, Dani. This is unacceptable. So let me put on some lip balm. So I think I told you guys we met on Match, right? All right, you guys. So I think I told you guys like the chunk of it where we met on Match.com. And so here's the scoop. I went on a few dates with this guy, and I was like, he's all right. I mean, he's handsome. He's cool. You know, kind of thing. Like, it was like, you like him. This was, for me, the easiest way to know if I wanted someone in my life or not was the instant question, would you introduce him to your sons? And it was an automatic no. It wasn't something I had to think about. There wasn't any circumstances where, oh, if X, Y, and Z, then B kind of thing. It wasn't like that. It was just like, no, definitely not. So I went on a few dates with this guy. I came home. I sat in front of my computer. I was doing some work, and I started to cry. Just full on bawling like a baby. I told you guys in a previous vlog that I cry about everything, and Sam makes fun of me, but I feel like it's my gym, it's my cardio, it's my yoga, it's my way of just release. And I was crying because I was disappointed in myself. I had just gotten to this point where I thought, am I just going out with anyone that invites me? Like, do I love myself so little that I'm willing to accept less than I've envisioned for myself? Not less than I deserve. You guys know how I feel about the word deserve. I don't like it. It sounds entitled. So I was like, am I really, what am I doing? You know, like, well, I don't function this way. I'm so disappointed in myself. Like, what the heck? What am I doing? Why am I wasting my time? And so with Match was a dating service that I used along with Bumble. But the reason that I preferred Match was because Match gives you the security that people provide more information. Now, could it be fake? Obviously. Anyone can lie about anything, right? But it was also, it just gives you a little more sense of taking themselves seriously. You know, if they took the time to do a thoughtful bio and add pictures and just tell you a little bit about themselves. It's not just a box selection like brown eyes and brown hair and their income and education level. Like, they actually have to write a bio. On Bumble, you add 5 pictures and you have like 100 characters to say something about yourself. It's really hard. So you don't know anything about people before, you know, even swiping on them. On Match, you could know a lot of information if the person is actually being honest and put forth effort. So on Match, this is gonna make me sound awful, but I would never browse the profiles. I would never throw out messages or likes or winks or anything. I would just wait and see if I got a notification. And if I did, then I would go see the profile and entertain this person. You know, entertain the thought of meeting this person, exchange a few messages, see how I felt about it, and then maybe meet. But I would never be the initiator. When I came home from that date and I sat at my desk and bawled for like 2 hours, I said, I either have completely unrealistic expectations as to what I want in a partner, or it's just not my time yet, you know, and I trust his plan and I trust what he has ready for me. So either I need to work on my unrealistic expectations or I just have to take a break. And so my plan was to sit at my computer, browse through profiles, and actually put the effort. Like, not have someone else put the effort, like me actually put the effort. Like, I can't just sit and wait, right? So I thought, this is my last ditch effort. I'm gonna see if this makes a difference. So I browsed for like an hour, and it was such a weird feeling, you guys, because I'm like, I'm not used to doing this. Am I doing it right? And so after like an hour, I saw Parker's profile, and the reason that he caught my attention was three things. The first thing was I'm using Charlotte Tilbury's Bronze and Glow. The first thing was he had several pictures of the beard. He had most without, but at the end he had pictures of the beard, and I was like, hello, sir. The second thing was, in one of the pictures, he was holding, you guys are gonna think I'm so lame. He was holding a cheeseburger that was like this big. Like literally, you guys, like this big. It was on a little plate. He looked like he was on vacation somewhere. And the hamburger, like the cheeseburger was this big. And I was like, oh! Two of the things that make my heart flutter, miniature and cheeseburgers. So I was like, oh, soulmate. And then the last thing was his profile. It was very thoughtful. It covered a lot of angles. I mean, from his belief, like his spiritual beliefs, his daughters, his acceptance of things, and intolerance of things. Like, he was face value. Like, what I felt when I was reading his profile, like when I wrote mine, you know, like, here it is, here's my laundry, like it or don't like it, but it's out there kind of thing. And so I got that vibe from his profile. So I was like staring at his profile, and I'm like, now what? Now what do you do? Like, seriously, what do you do now, you guys? When you're looking at this profile, like, what's next, right? So I was like, I saw this little heart icon, and I was like, heart. And it was like, you liked his photo. And I was like, oh! How do I undo that? And that's not what I wanted to do. What do I do, you know? And so I just sat there, and I was like, doo-doo-doo. So I went to sleep. I closed my browser, and I went to sleep. I wasn't browsing on the app. I wanted to sit on the desktop. I wanted to get the full effect. You know, I wanted to really try and like actually put effort, right? So after crying so hard, I was like a 2-year-old after a tantrum where you just sleep really hard. And so the next morning, my boys came back. It was crazy. It was the Monday rush. And it was like, blunk, you got a message from, I don't even remember his screen name anymore. I have it somewhere. I took a screenshot of his profile when we were gonna meet, just in case he was like, you know, home invader or serial killer. And so it was like, blink, you got a message. And I was like, did the heart thing work? Did I do it right? All right, you guys, this is where we could potentially derail our entire look. We're gonna go in with a cream blush. The cream blush is from Stila. It comes in this little palette. I don't think they have this palette anymore. It's the Surprise Splendor Convertible. The convertible cream products from Stila are lip and cheek. So they're my favorite cream products ever. I really, really like them. And I'm going to apply this like mauvey pink blush with a Laura Mercier cheek color brush. So I'm just gonna pat it. Pat, 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 pat. See, the problem with going in with cream after powder is you can't really blend it. Like, you're stuck. So you better do a good job. I'm not too concerned because I need to film a few videos after this one. So if it's too intense, it's okay. It's film makeup. But when I need to go out, then I'm going to be a little in trouble. Anyway, so I got a message and it said, are you actually gonna give me your phone number this time? And I was like, like Scooby-Doo, excuse me? Apparently, according to Parker, I ghosted him. And he and I have very different opinions as to what ghosted means. To me, ghosted is we interacted, we met in person, and then I never text you back, I never called you back, you reached out and I just ghosted you, right? I just disappeared, like I died. To me, that's ghosted. He thinks that ghosting means we had communication and then I just stopped replying. And I am an awful human, and I will admit that I've done that before. So, it's a possibility, but usually it's because the person was very slow. Like we exchanged multiple messages and it just didn't get anywhere. It wasn't interesting, it was boring, or they didn't ask for my phone number, or they didn't want to make plans. It was just like, it was long and drawn out and purposeless. So I was like, mama's got things to do. Like, I'm 34, I have 2 kids, like I need to move on. Do you want to date or not? I don't mean date like in a relationship. I mean like, do you want to meet? All right, ladies, so let's be honest. When a man comes at you with a statement like that, it's a little abrasive, but you're like, I'm listening. Yes. Okay, now we're gonna go in with Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter in Kitten. You guys, this highlighter will completely change your life. Just wait for it. So he sends me that message and I was like, excuse me, sir? I will fight you via message, okay? So I replied and I was like, well, that depends. Are you actually gonna ask this time? And he was like, oh, snap. So that was it. We exchanged phone numbers like within the first 2 or 3 messages, and we text all day. Come around school pickup, I said, hey, you know what? Mom mode in full effect. I have to get my little guy at school. We got to focus. I have things to do. I basically lost all day flirting with you. So it was nice chatting. And he was like, is it okay if I call you tonight? And I was like, you're going to hear that sound a lot in this video. My response was, on the phone? No one calls anymore, you guys. I love talking on the phone. Do I have time to talk on the phone? No, never. But the idea that someone is confident enough to want to speak with you, you guys. If you guys are doing digital dating or you've been divorced and you're trying the app thing, you know what I'm talking about, the whole phone. Do you think I put on enough highlighter? Wow. So you know what I'm talking about when it comes down to calling. No one calls. You don't know, I went on like 47 dates without first hearing the person's voice. The man's voice. That's kind of audacious, don't you think? You guys, this story is unnecessarily long. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do like 2 parts. I'm going in with the second brow gel because as much as I've been liking the Essence one, I'm still not crazy about it. Like, I feel like it's missing some, like, grip. It's too gentle for my 4 baby brow hairs. I need a more aggressive brow gel. Anyway, so I was like on the phone, you want to call me? So he called me that night, and I'm going to go in with this little Baby MAC palette and just the matte vanilla. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do the matte vanilla. And we'll put that as my brow bone. Highlight. I want it to be matte because everything else looks super slick. Super slickery. We totally need to make that word, you guys. Let's make that word happen. Slickery. You guys, so he calls me, and I've never told Parker this part of the story. So at first I was like, holy crap, he's boring. But as the conversation went on, I was like, is he boring? Or is he just one of those guys that's just a man of few words, like my dad and my brother? So my dad and my brother are the type of men that are so intelligent and they let people talk and they only they only participate in the conversation when they have something really, really, really important to contribute, right? I was like, what if he's gathering intel? Like, what if, actually I put my highlighter back. What if he's one of those guys that's letting me talk and see how much stuff comes out of my mouth? So I'm using a synthetic brush and that same highlighter, and that's going to be half of my lid color. So we're applying it to the lid and then kind of bringing it up. And we're going about 2/3 of the way over. So I was like, he's bored. He's one of those guys that is so smart that is not easily impressed. And my like sassy, witty charm has absolutely zero effect on him. He's bored. He's actually bored. And so the conversation for me got a little weird because I was like, oh man, no matter how much of my tricks I have up my sleeve, nothing's gonna work on this guy, right? So he was just very serious, letting me talk, letting me talk. We talked for a few hours, and at the end of the conversation, he's like, I'd like to call you again tomorrow night. Is that okay? And I was like, so I was like, okay, you know, and that is basically the extent of like our entire relationship. It's him asking me something and then me going, okay, you know, like a total goof. So then I was like, all right, so maybe he isn't bored. Maybe he was just enthralled and completely captivated with my charm. Just kidding, I never thought that. But I was like, okay, so he's definitely one of those logical, analytical, doesn't rush into things and doesn't rush to judgment type of people, right? Like I meet someone and within 30 seconds, I'm like, yes, or And a lot of people actually really need that time to develop, to have a conversation, to gather intel almost, right? So I was like, I'm picking up what you're putting down, sir. So now I'm going to go in with the fluffy blending brush and this color Dusk. This is the same look I had yesterday, but just with a few tweaks. And that's going to be our, this area color. So the next day he called me again. And the day after that he called me again. And he regularly texted me, and if I texted him, he would reply right away. So we started chatting on a Monday, and we decided to meet on a Thursday. And he didn't have his baby girls, I didn't have my boys, and so we decided to meet around dinner time. I think our plans were originally for 6 o'clock, and we decided to meet at a local bar. And so that day I was so excited and so anxious to meet him that my son's father texted me that day and said, hey, I can actually pick up the boys way earlier than I had planned. Is that cool? And I was like, hold please. So I text Parker and I was like, hey, I can actually meet sooner. And he was like, he played it so cool, y'all. Like, so cool. He was like, well, let me check. I'll see, you know, like, I'll see what I can do. I don't remember what he said. It was nice the way he said it, but it wasn't like an instant yes. And he came back with like a time, an earlier time. He's like, how about 3:30? And I was like, music to my ears. Yeah, so he said yes. We ended up meeting a lot sooner. I think it was like 3:30 or 4. You guys, I am like a couple of yards from pulling into the parking lot where this bar is at 3:30. Yes, we were going to a bar at 3:30. And he calls me and I was like, oh no, this is it. This is the call where he's like, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it. I have diarrhea or whatever. Just an infinite amount of, I know all the excuses, you guys. And he's like, I'm outside this bar and it's closed. And I was like, well, I guess it's kind of early for a bar. He's like, no, like really closed. Like there's no furniture inside. So I was like, hey, it's not even a big deal. Don't even worry about it. I'm actually pulling into the parking lot right now. So let's talk about it and decide somewhere else to meet. You guys, I have to put all my tools down right now to tell you this, because if I'm doing anything, I will poke my eye out. He gets out of his truck and walks around to my car, and I swear to God, I was like, please, God, strike the earth, let it split in half and swallow me into the molten lava core of this earth, because this man is way too handsome for me. And I don't mean way too handsome for me because I feel some type of way or I think I'm insignificant in some way. No, I just mean like, he's too handsome. I'm gonna be nervous. I'm gonna trip. I'm gonna stumble over my words. I'm not gonna be able to function, and I was not cut out for this type of handsome preparedness. Okay, you guys? Jesus, take the wheel. Oh my God. I text Sam when I saw him get out of his truck and walk around my car, and I was like, Sam, you need to rescue me. I need to get out of this date. Okay, I'm gonna take some more of that highlighter, and I'm going to use that on the lower lash line with the same brush. The cool thing about this highlighter is that even though it's a cream product, it's like a putty. So it doesn't really conflict with powder products. It's super, super easy to use. I really, really, really like it. There's other colors too, and I'm like, it might be worth looking at these other colors, see if they're awesome, just like this one. But nothing compares to Kitten. You know, Kitten by Stila is one of the best highlighter colors ever invented to man, and I just poked my eye out. Let's just pretend I'm still very graceful and continue on with my story. And so I text Sam, I was like, hey Sam, I'm gonna need you to like rescue me in the next, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes. She's like, are you sure? Like in all capitals, are you sure? And so I said, Sam, he is so gorgeous. And she's like, I told you. Are you sure you want to cancel? And I was like, rescue me. So we talk for a couple minutes, and I give a couple of options of where we could go nearby. And we decide to go to this place called Cineworks at the Star. And so on the drive over there, you guys, we hit 2 detours. This is how bad the date was not supposed to happen. The bar was closed. There were 2 detours. When we're pulling into the parking lot, this car cuts off Parker, and he had to do like this sudden stop. We're going in with a black eyeliner now, just on the lower lash line, and sort of dragging it down just a little bit, not too crazy. This is just for dimension, not too much purpose to it. And so when we get to the Star, this place we were going to, I totally steal his parking spot. And he had to park like super far. So we're driving, actually we're driving to the Star, and Sam called me. She's like, are you sure? Like, are you sure? Because I will save you if you need me to. Are you sure? And I was like, no, I'm a big girl. It would totally hurt my feelings if someone did that to me. So I'll just tough it out. I was just convinced this guy's not going to like me. This guy is like that, like tough, serious, and I'm just too squirrely. I'm too much sunshine. I'm too loud for serious guys like him, right? They get overwhelmed very easy with personalities like mine. And I've experienced it first-handedly for a long time. And I'm just not, I don't know. I just feel like our personalities don't really vibe well together. So I was already like, the plane is crashing. The plane's coming down, but I'll be an adult about it, and I'll just stick through the day. I mean, come on. What's the worst that can happen? I make a new friend, no big deal. It's happened before on dates where I get friend zoned instantly because I'm just too much, right? So at this point, I just told Sam, no, whatever. We get out of our cars. Parker had to park like 72 miles away, and he's coming up these little steps, and I'm already waiting up here on the sidewalk, and he's coming up. The minute I saw him, I like link arms with him, and I'm like, hey, the bar's over here. Like, let's just keep walking. It's right there on the corner. You see it? There's like a little terrace or whatever. And inside of my head, I was like, what am I doing right now? What did I just do? Like, I literally just met this poor man, and I'm already linking arms with him in public. To me, it was like, okay, well, that's nice. I instantly feel safe around him. So I want to link arms with him. But then I always have to take into consideration that you don't know someone, and people are very particular about personal space, right? Now I'm going to go in with a mascara from Essence, starting at the root of my lashes and working the product up. You see the difference just with one swipe? Isn't that crazy? Anyway, so I link arms with him. We get to the place, and the first thing out of my mouth when the waitress comes over is, I wanted a fried chicken sandwich. Yes, you guys, I'm trying to be like, oh, I'm so cute, and like, I'm such a lady. And I'm not saying you can't be a lady without ordering fried chicken. You guys, come on. Pick up the vibe I'm putting down, okay? If you're on a first date, you don't like shove your face with the fried chicken sandwich. Oh, but guess what? I do. I don't know. I was kind of at a point where, and Parker and I have talked about this before. I was at a point where I said, I'm gonna wear what I want to wear. I'm gonna do the makeup I want to do. I want to pick the place where I want to pick it, and I'm gonna wear the shoes I want to wear, and I'm gonna eat what I want to eat, and I'm gonna laugh as loud as I laugh, and I'm gonna snort if I need to snort. I'm just gonna be myself 100%, not filtered in any way. I'm not gonna be PC, and I'm not going to be baby proofed or in any way am I going to be filtered. I'm just gonna be me, 100%. And if I see a puppy and I'm gonna squeal and freak out, then so be it, kind of thing, you know? And so I wanted a fried chicken sandwich, so I got one. And the whole date, Parker's really serious. You know, we have a conversation, it's pretty good. Most of the talking is done by me, obviously. And he's not ignoring me or being rude, but he's serious. He's just a different personality, you know? And he's one of those guys I feel like you would ask, is he bored? You know, because he's just serious. He's not all up in your face and crazy loud like, I don't know, someone you know. So I was convinced he didn't like me, and he was just being ridiculously, insanely sweet and polite and a total gentleman, right? So I excuse myself and I go to the restroom, and I text Sam and I was like, hey Sam, not gonna need you to save me, but just letting you know, he's super handsome, super sweet, such a gentleman, but he's totally not feeling it. He's not feeling my vibe, so whatever. I'm having a good time. But, you know, there's not gonna be a second date, so cool. It's awesome that I didn't cancel, kind of thing. You know, it's awesome that you didn't rescue me because there's no need to, kind of thing. So we hang out there for a bit, and then after we kind of got out of there, we started walking to our cars, and he goes in to hug me and say bye, and he says, I kind of don't feel like the date is over. And I was like, oh, a man of few words, but the few words he says are very, very, very meaningful, right? And so I was like, I know, right? Maybe he does like me. So I said, sure. Well, what do people do? We already drank and we already ate. So we had a few beers at this place called City Works, and we ate. We had fried pickles. I had a fried chicken sandwich. I don't remember what he had, actually. Probably tacos. That man is obsessed with tacos. Yeah, I don't remember what he got. And then he's like, well, what about a coffee date? And I was like, boom, that's genius. You know, it was still early. I think it was like, I don't know, 6 o'clock maybe. And so he's like, yeah, let me find a place nearby. I'll text you and then we'll meet there. So he texts me the Starbucks that's close by. It was 6:30, I remember. It was 6:30. And I'm like, hey, you do know that Starbucks closes in 30 minutes, right? Poor Parker. He was like 0 for 2. He kept striking out. And I was like, look, if we drive a few more miles, Legacy West is there, and they actually have a Starbucks Reserve, which has really, really delicious cold brew coffee. Why don't we go there? Okay, cool, let's. So we go to Legacy West. We walk around, and then we sit at the Starbucks bench until 11:30. You guys, just talking. While we were talking, you know, I would put my hand on his leg, or we would hold hands, or I'd lean into his shoulder. One of his daughters was on a trip, a school trip to DC. She actually FaceTimed him while we were on the date. Obviously, I moved aside so that, you know, I wasn't there. She didn't see me or anything. I don't think she knew I was there. But just seeing the way he spoke to his daughter, I was like... So during that conversation at Starbucks, or on the little Starbucks bench, I still was doubtful that it was going to go anywhere. And not because of me, but because I still couldn't read him. And something that took me a long time to figure out about Parker is that he is a lot more sensitive and I guess in tune with his emotions than he lets on, you know, because of his job and because of the beard and all the stuff, and he's so handy with tools. Like, you just automatically assume he's that tough alpha, yeah, guns, fishing, hunting, you know. Sorry, that's my man voice. And you just assume all those things. But if I were to describe him in any way, and this is totally going to make him lose like man cool points, but he's the perfect combination of a sensitive, emotionally mature, and emotionally available man with an alpha male. So he has all the stereotypical characteristics that you would expect, you know, like the tools and the sports and football and things like that, and grilling. But he also is the type of guy that won't get uncomfortable if you cry in front of him. Or he will go and buy you tampons if you need them. Or he will go with you to your gynecologist appointment and watch them, you know, or rip your uterus out. So he is a treasure, that man. So we're sitting on the bench, and we are just kind of talking about everything and his kids and my kids and showing pictures and everything. And I asked him, I'm like, so what are you doing this weekend? Because it was just Thursday, right? I'm like just curious to what his weekend looks like. And he goes, nothing really. I don't have any plans. What about you? And I blatantly said, I've told you guys I was honest, like cards on the table. I'm just going to be myself completely. I'm not going to filter myself in any way. So I said, I have a date tomorrow. With the guy from the previous weekend. But other than that, I'm just going to be home and I just have work to do, right? And he goes, well, I'd like to see you again tomorrow and the day after that and the day after that if you're free. You guys, I was like, you know all those like little swoon characters, like the little skunk on Bambi? Or Bugs Bunny's girlfriend when like her ears get like all tangled up and like she gets like heart eyes. That was me. I was like, and that was when I knew, oh, he's just a man of few words that kind of keeps his feelings on the down low, you know? All right, you guys, so we are almost done. Let me fix my craziness over here. I hope I don't have cramps. So all we have to do is lips now and the end of this love story. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, not like that. Our version. Okay, so for lips, we're gonna go in with Mac Soar. So when he said that, I'd like to see you again tomorrow, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, if you're available. So he meant Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I was like, that's when I knew, huh, yeah, he actually does like me. So that was it. We went out the next day, and during the next day, our second date, it actually ended really early. So I was like, oh, okay, that was for him, like his deal breaker, or rather he went on a second date to be convinced that he did like me or he didn't. So the date ended really early. I can't talk and line my lips at the same time. So I canceled my date the next day. We saw each other, And I still wasn't sure that he liked me because our second date actually ended really early. But it turns out that he stayed out until 11:30, and that was at a time where he was going into work at 4:30. So he hadn't slept. He was running on fumes. The fact that he went out with me speaks volumes, right? So we saw each other the next 3 days. But you know my favorite part of this whole story? I'm going in with Nick's tiramisu. My favorite part of this entire story is... All right, you guys, that completes the final look. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm totally gonna leave you hanging with my favorite part of the entire first date. Just kidding. So we left around 11:30 after the coffee shop, right? And I get home and I text Sam, even though she was way, way asleep. And I said, I want to hide my Match profile. So on Match, you're able to hide your profile if you're like trying to take a break, or maybe you met someone and you want to just focus on this person. It's a way to show them like, hey, I'm off the market. I want to focus on us and see where that goes, right? So Sam was like, look, Dani, you're impulsive, you know? And this is why Sam is such a gem. She tells you like it is. Like, she loves you, so she tells it like it is. And despite the fact that she could risk hurting your feelings, it's more important for her to be honest and direct and helpful. So she's like, you're impulsive. Ride it out, see him a few more times, and then see if you still feel the same way. And so I said, all right, you're right. So the next morning after our first date, I wake up and I try to go see his profile again, and his profile was hidden. I know. Aww. You guys, it's almost been a year and that man still makes me gush and blush and feel like a little girl at Christmas morning. I had given up. I had completely given up, and I had become very cynical when it came to love, and I had come to the resolution that fairy tale romances aren't a thing. Despite the fact that my parents have been married for like 45 years, despite the fact that Parker's parents have been married for like 60 years, I was coming from a place where I was a cynic about love, I was a cynic about marriage, and I no longer believed in it, and I thought it was conventional. I thought it was something that you did because you were supposed to, and that you were supposed to tolerate things, not just accept them. And I love the fact that I was so wrong. So if you are on the same boat, if you're experiencing the same type of chapters that I already went through, hope is such a strong thing. Hope is so valuable, and it's so encouraging to hold on to it. But ultimately, I think what helped me the most was surrendering myself to the plan. You know, it's like that saying where you make a plan and God laughs at you. It was the same kind of thing. It wasn't going to happen on my timeline. It wasn't going to happen on my checklist. It wasn't going to happen when I wanted it to happen. I went back about 2 months ago, and I was telling Parker that in my phone I had a checklist of my must-haves, my would-be nice, and my icing on the cake in terms of a perfect mate. So it was like the deal breaker or the must-haves. Like, he definitely has to be spiritual or believe in God. He has to love my kids, not like their father, but love and respect them like a male figure of authority and someone that's going to guide them along the right path or help me do it. And then there were like my preferences, like it would be nice if he was tall. Is it a deal breaker? No, but it would be nice. And then the icing on the cake for me was like a beard, stuff like that. And so I didn't want to look at that list anymore because Parker isn't a list to me. Parker is Parker. He's the one for me. Oh gosh, you guys, I hope you can't hear that. Like, I was getting to the end of my video and now the landscaper is out front trying to make my neighbor's yard look all nice and pretty for spring. So what I was getting at is Parker's not a list, you know? And so when I met him, I was like, he's the one, he's it. This is it. This is where the train stops, kind of thing. And I didn't want to look at that list because I thought that that would in some way affect my relationship. You guys, he's everything on my list plus daughters. I know. It's so funny and weird how life works sometimes, but don't let go of hope. Don't let go of faith. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this Get Ready with me. It's kind of long, kind of corny, and it was very special for me to share it with you guys. I kind of like the way it started because this was not part of the plan, but I think that, I don't know, I feel like there's a pretty ending to this video. You know, it just goes to show that it's good to have a plan for yourself. It's good to have goals for yourself, but it's also good to surrender your life to acceptance and to being hopeful and to waiting for the right time, for the right things to happen. Go out and pursue your goals, but also allow yourself to be prepared for when things are going to happen. And so I wasn't prepared. With Blake Shelton, I wasn't prepared. With Liam Neeson, I wasn't prepared. With all of the other duds that strung me along for a long time, I wasn't ready. And then here comes Parker. This turned into like a love dedication to Parker, you guys. I'm sorry. Let's just focus, thug it up a little bit. Let's talk about like makeup, yeah. Anyway, all of the products that I use in this video will be listed and hopefully linked in the description box of this video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for always giving me your eyes and ears. You guys are so special to me. And you know what to do. If you found this video useful, entertaining, and learned something, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, this coffee break is over. Bye guys.